Thank you, Duncan. My name is Lisa Duggan, and I'm here to tell you a story. In 2011, I accidentally became a documentarian. Occupy Wall Street was happening. My friend Dana Glazer was filming Zuccotti Park and the occupation, and he asked me if I wanted to come along. It was November. Occupy was gathering steam. It was at its height. It was all over the news. Everybody was pretty pumped up. It was happening all over the world, and we were there filming it. It was really exciting. I had never been on that side of the camera. I had always been an activist. So this was very different for me, but I liked it because I was right in the heart of it. And we went to one of the general council meetings. We were following a group of parents from Brooklyn who were part of Occupy Wall Street. Deborah and Brian with their baby Nicholas, and Kirby, who was the founder of this group, Parents for Occupy Wall Street. So we went to the general council meeting, Dana with his heavy camera, I'm carrying the camera bag, that was my job. I was really good at it. And wherever the parents went, we went. So it was a very weird place to have a meeting. It was a high school that was in the Wall Street area. That's where we had to go that night. So we all got in Kirby's van. We went down to the Wall Street area, found the high school. Cops are everywhere, outside the school, inside the school. The enemy was among us. We went inside and filmed this very sweaty, long, confusing meeting to me. And it was getting late, and Nicholas was getting very agitated. He had been, his father was kind of walking him around while people were meeting. So we said, let's get out of here and find a place to just sit and talk about our strategy, and not our strategy, the parents. So we walked a couple of blocks and found our way into the South Street Seaport and found a bar that looked pretty nice, and the night was kind of cool. It wasn't too hot and too cold, so we said we'd sit outside. So our crew of parents took a table outside this bar, and Dana and I took 2 chairs from another table, and we sat facing them. And I and Dana were also facing the windows of the bar, the Wall Street bar, with Wall Street types in it. Bankers, brokers, traders, everybody had ties on. They were kind of half askew. It was a Thursday night, so people were already partying. It was 8:30 going on 9. People were a couple of drinks in. I could see it all from the window. We sat in our chairs, and he is a filmmaker, Dana had instructed me from the beginning, Lisa, don't step into the picture. Lisa, keep your mouth shut. Don't talk to the parents about your feelings and what you think about Occupy Wall Street. Stay out of the picture. And I had been doing a really good job up until that night. So we're filming our parents, and Dana's view is just the parents in front of him. He's got the camera up, but I'm seeing everything. The parents are seeing each other, and I'm seeing the windows of the bar with the Wall Street types. And there's this redhead who comes into view. And Deborah is sitting at the table below her, and she's nursing Nicholas. And she's doing it pretty modestly. She's got him covered up. And I see this redhead, and I'm watching her, and she has red lipstick and really red hair. I can't miss her. And she's standing in the window. Deborah, Brian, Kirby, very engaged. Dana is filming. Lisa's getting angry. Because the redhead is standing over Deborah, and she's pointing down at Deborah, and she's calling her drunk friends over to the window to stare down at Deborah, who's nursing baby Nicholas. And I am getting angrier and angrier. These are the people that our parents are protesting against. These are the pricks from Wall Street. They're ruining the fucking country. And they're mocking the sweet, innocent nursing mom. He told me to stay out of the picture. He said, don't step into the picture, and I kept my mouth shut for as long as I could. So I got up very sweetly and said, I'll be right back. And I made my way into the bar. Alone, I thought. but they had all followed me. Because when I got up to say, I'll be right back, I was obviously angry and obviously upset, and everyone turned around, and now Deborah and her husband Brian and Kirby all saw what was happening. That an entire crowd of Wall Street types with their ties askew were standing and looking at us. We did have a camera. So I'm not saying we didn't do anything to draw attention to ourselves, but we sat outside. We didn't want any trouble. They just wanted a place to sit and talk. And then this redhead. So I was going inside. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was just going to talk to her. I'm just going to talk to her. Obviously, we're two women. We can talk about this. She's drunk. She doesn't know what she's doing. I'm going to just go in and I'm going to give her a piece of my mind is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go in there. You know what? I'm going to punch her in that face. That stupid face of hers. That's what I'm doing. And I get inside the bar and I get right up close to her. And I think she was waiting for me to come in. She got right up close to me too, and she was drunk and I could smell it. And I said the dumbest thing that you could ever say, the line that has started every fight anytime, anywhere in history. I said, "Do you have a problem?" And she said the dumbest line back to me, "No, do you have a problem?" And that's all I remember. Because by then, Kirby and Deborah and Brian and baby Nicholas and Dana with the camera were in the middle of the bar. And we were all yelling at each other. And the people who owned the bar came over and asked us to get out of their bar with the camera. And everyone came out to the sidewalk. And I was pumped up. And the redhead and her friends came outside too. That wasn't so good. Anyone who ever starts a fight thinks they're right. I thought I was. Or I didn't think at all. I was going in that bar and I was going to talk to her, and isn't that what this was all about? We were standing up for ourselves. So I don't remember, we were out on the sidewalk and people were telling us to go away and people were yelling at us, and Kirby's credit card was inside on the bar, and then one of us had to go back in and get the credit card, and we slunk back to the van. I was still pumped up. I thought we had done this great thing. And we got in the van and it was silent. We were driving home and I wanted to talk about the cool fight that we almost had. And those Wall Street assholes. And how we confronted them over breastfeeding. I don't know what happened there. How did that become the issue? And I realized that nobody thought it was a cool fight, and they were all really pissed at me. And I thought I had been the hero. And I stood up for Deborah, and I was a nursing mother. And Deborah said, "You didn't have any right to do that. You didn't have any right to go in that bar." And I was really ashamed. And I realized that the parents we were filming had found a way, they found their voice, and they had decided to use their voice to speak out against the bank fraud and the terrible things that were happening to us and to our country. And they made a conscious choice. They didn't run into a bar and start a fight that their friends had to finish. That's what I did. Anybody who ever starts a fight thinks they're right. I wasn't. And there's a big difference between finding your voice and using your voice. And there's a even bigger difference that you should learn, the difference between using your voice well and shouting.